It's First Aid with Kellie Kincaid on Sway in the Morning.
It's like this, yeah.
All right. Today, I actually been excited all week about our guest today with Kellie Kincaid. By the way, good morning, Kellie Kincaid.
Good morning, Sway. Good
Welcome
morning,
to First Aid with Kellie Kincaid.
Thank you. Happy Thursday.
And Kellie, can you explain to our audience who our guests are today?
Well, excuse me, adjusting microphone check. Today we have Kellie Bowman and Izeah
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Izeah Bowman here today, and they are part of the Dr. Sebi family. Now, we talk about a lot of health issues, and we bring a lot of people on. Like last week we had A.D. Dolphin here, and Dr. Sebi is like the creme de la creme of herbalist, changing your body. And we have the family here, his daughter, which is Kellie, as I introduced, and Izeah, his grandson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And you know, Sway, we had last year we had Mrs. Dr. Sebi here. And it was important for us to get more of the family members because Kellie and Izeah, I had a lot of questions of what is going on. And I just wanted to find out, who is Mrs. Dr. Sebi to you, and you know, what is going on right now? Because we have different people saying that they represent his estate.
Well, Mrs. Dr. Sebi is the woman at the end of his life, as we know. She did a lot of work with him. So she would be, I guess, what we would call in America a stepmother.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed her a lot. She was a beautiful woman. She shared many years with my father, and I watched her and him grow in an area that, only two people in love can do. And through that love, they did a lot of great work together.
Okay. Can you, for the audience who don't know, explain who your father is and what his mission was in life?
Dr. Sebi, Alfredo Bowman, was a sick man. Mm-hmm. He started off a sick man, and he started off tired of being sick. And he wanted better for himself. He went to the doctors. He went to his family. He went everywhere to find healing. He was a defeated man because he was impotent, high blood pressure. So he was a man on a journey looking for health, looking for wellness, looking for balance. So what he did was he found an herbalist in Mexico that, on his journey, that would help lead him to who we know now in this day and age as Dr. Sebi. So first he started off being his own healer. Mm-hmm. So he was just a man just like we are, walking down the streets of New York, L.A., sick and defeated. But he died a courageous man, a fearless man, because he figured it out through natural healing.
Because he figured it out through natural healing. Part of that healing, some of my family members, including myself in the 90s, part of those methods we actually adapted into our lifestyle and watched our health get even better. There's so many questions around even his passing. Do you guys at all confront those questions? A lot of folks have said we didn't understand why he passed away the way he did. And we felt like there was foul play. How do you guys respond to that?
Well, there was no foul play in my grandfather's death. I want to just, clear that up because there's so many misconceptions. People say he died, because of who he was. The government killed him. So many speculations, but my grandfather died in a prison of starvation. You in a third world country where the prison conditions are awful. They're not like American prisons where you get hot meals and hot showers. There, they're sleeping on the ground, eliminating waste in holes. It's a very poor, place. And your grandfather or your dad go to jail at 80 years old. It's a possibility he's not going to live either.
Yeah.
So we just want to clear up the speculations and the misconceptions of Dr. Sebi's death.
I'm glad you're doing that because I think what typically happens, especially in our society, we get distracted and cluttered from some of the things that are even more important is what he did in his life and what he's offered the world and how we can improve on our lives. Another thing that we've often talked about at the death of Nipsey Hussle, who was, we believe, he came on board to do this documentary with your father, correct?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. People wanted to affiliate his death with his work towards your grandfather, your father.
Right.
How did your family, how did you guys respond to that?
Well, during the time of Nipsey passing, it was so many speculations. It's like, oh my God, they killed him because he was doing Dr. Sebi's documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once the news found out who his killer was, then all the opinions, the speculations, and the misconceptions went out the window because it was gang activity.
Yeah.
And that's tragedy in our society. We're tired of losing pioneers and kings that's trying to help our community and just help us evolve as people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
With the documentary, Nipsey spoke about really highlighting his court case in New York.
Yes.
And now that Nipsey has passed and that Cannon it's been reported that he's a part of it, what's the status of the documentary? Will it just be the court case or more?
Yes, we're talking about strictly, the court case and putting out the right information because, people say Dr. Sebi was a quack. He didn't really cure these diseases. The court was kind of like, people just say all kind of things, but we are doing a documentary right now. It's almost finished.
Okay.
And hopefully by September, it'll be complete.
Okay.
So, yeah, we are doing a documentary for those who thought that Nick Cannon wasn't doing it or scared or any misconceptions. We're going to make sure the marathon continue and we keep this legacy alive.
Absolutely. Izeah and Kellie Bowman are here. In this doc, will we see footage of doctors? Will we see footage of your father?
Yes, we will definitely see footage of my grandfather, the family. It's going to be an epic documentary because it's time for our people to wake up as a whole and really see how it's important to eat on a electric cell food level. And that's what my grandfather was showing the people, that we don't have to die from pharmaceutical medication. We don't have to die from GMO foods and processed foods. It's time for us to wake up and truly, take a stand with our health. Look at our generation. Look at our society. Obesity is at its highest. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, and cancer. It's all because of what we consuming.
What we're consuming.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so what is, I'm trying not to, the pharmaceutical industry, I've often said that it feeds off of sickness and illness. It can't thrive unless it keeps us sick. Right. So with that being the bottom line, when you talk about business, why would there be a cure to all of these diseases? So many people would go out of business. It would affect our country, so on and so forth. Do you guys receive a lot of backlash or a lot of obstacles in your teachings about better health?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But we really got to look at things like this. What came first? You ever ride down a road and you see cement and it cracks? And what grows in the middle of that crack? The grass, right?
Yeah.
So what came first? So when you look at it like that, you got to know that healing was here before all of us. The herbs were here long time ago, and they're for our benefit. So when we think about that we've gotten so far outside of ourselves, that we live on the outskirts of ourselves and not the inner, we think that processed foods is our food, and we've been fooled by that through the emotions we have through this processed food. We need to move to organic self, and that's getting back to the mother, and that's the earth. Yeah. So if we start doing that kind of work, and I believe the millennials are ready.
They're ready.
They are so ready, and we are here as young herbalists to say, we're here for you. Okay. We're your biggest cheerleaders and your educators, and that's where we should be. So in this time and day, I think it's time to go back to the mother. We've lost the big mama age. It's time to realize that it is necessary and imperative that we take this journey and make it our next force to be reckoned with.
Kellie and Izeah, you all grew up with your grandfather and your father learning about his practice. Do you all have any additional education to carry out your father's legacy?
Yes. I further my knowledge and have a degree in nutrition. So for me, I wanted to change our society and stop obesity, because that's the highest thing in our society today is obesity. And it causes emotional issues. It causes our people to go into a state to where you no longer love yourself. So it's time for us to really make a change and stop consuming things that we know is bad. If you know that this cheeseburger can be in someone's jacket and sit there for 2 years, and you watch it on YouTube and you still continue to not change, then it's you. You got to take accountability for you.
And Kellie, what's your background as well?
I've been a nurse for 23 years. I've worked in every facet that I ever wanted to in nursing, but it was necessary. Working that closely with my father, we were in LA and we were having a lot of conversations about what doctors were telling our clients, and that's a new language. So I wanted to go to school to learn that language in the medical field. So 23 years ago, I made the decision to become a nurse so that I can understand the patients in that capacity and bring them over to understanding what natural healing can happen either with it or without it. So being a nurse has benefited exactly what I do, because that language that they're hearing, they fear because they don't understand it. They didn't get the education. So who's going to explain it to the clients? Someone has to. We all must be educated to know about what's going to happen to our lives. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, being a nurse, it's been really rewarding for my journey as an herbalist.
Izeah and Kellie Bowman are here. I want to do this correctly because there's a lot of different platforms where people could find different information. What's the direct way that people could find information from you guys?
You could go to dietaryresolutions at gmail.com, or you could go to Sebi's Daughters at gmail.com as well, or you could follow our Instagram pages at Dietary Resolutions and Sebi's Daughter.
Dietary Resolutions.
Yes, sir.
And Sebi's Daughters.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you guys could do that now. Do you believe food has been weaponized against our community?
Of course, that's been the number one thing in our culture for generations and generations that's destroying us as people.
That's the silent killer.
Literally a silent killer, because look at what it's done to our families. We're the generation of change. So we're tired of seeing our uncles and dads and grandfathers and grandmothers die from disease, to where we stepping back now and saying, hold up, if we seeing all of this, it's time for us to change. It's time for us to put the cheeseburgers down, put the chicken down, the rice, the beef, and the eggs. It's been destroying our melanin for generations and generations. Why continue to consume something that creates mucus? A mucusless diet is a better diet for our people. A plant-based diet, they, like my grandfather always said, they brought us from Africa, but they didn't bring our food with us, to where now we just eat everything. And then I'll ask our people, well, what is our food? No one can tell me. But we have to go back to Africa and where it started. Plants, grains, fruits, and water is the best thing for us. And minerals, such as the herbs that my grandfather always talked about. The herbs are the healing of the nation.
What are the vegetables that your grandfather identified as not being authentic?
Carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, celery, soy, tofu, the things that our culture think is healthy. We have these labels, people label themselves as vegan. And in that vegan society, they're very judgmental. And my grandfather not one time ever said we was vegan.
No.
We always ate on a electric cell food level, or we ate on we had a plant-based diet. And that was it. We never labeled ourselves as anything but just plant-based eaters.
Now, he would get a lot of naysayers when he would make those assertions about what vegetables aren't authentic. He also, obviously got a lot of backlash when he said he had discovered the cure for AIDS and what other disease? Diabetes, herpes, correct?
Yes.
Yes. You guys know this for a fact, though, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And so you've seen this happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, with various people.
Definitely.
And he's had to prove this right?
Yes.
And he's
yes.
proven it.
He has proven, and so this is where we bring back the Nipsey Hussle piece.
Yeah.
Because right there, the New York Supreme Court in 1988 acquitted him of any wrongdoing. And he brought all the information he had. He brought the facts. And see, let's live in the truth of it.
Yes.
This is what happened. Now, how you choose to spin it or whether you're just not interested in it, it exists. So that's what's up. We got to look at what the truth is and make that truth our own today, that it has been proven in their highest courts of America that it is a definite fact that he cured. Bottom line.
It's on record. I read it years ago.
Yes.
And couldn't understand why people still disputed it. You know.
That's right.
But I do understand, you know, because of the bigger picture. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of power involved. I want to give out y'all platforms. I'm going to continue to do this once again. So it's dietaryresolutions.com. Okay. And Sebi'sDaughters.com. And you spell that SEBIS, daughters with an S at the end.
Yes.
.com. I also want to take phone calls. This is a very important conversation. You know, you probably sitting with somebody we all got family members that are ill. Facts. You know, maybe it's another route you can take different from the one you've been taking that hasn't worked. So 888-742-3345. We'll come right back.
Why do we get sick? The body was not designed to be sick. Bird doesn't get sick. Elephant doesn't get sick. He needs no vet. The lion doesn't need a vet. Neither is a giraffe or any of the natural animals. Why do we get sick?
That's the voice of the late but great Dr. Sebi, who's still here with us in spirit and energy, a vegetarian herbalist, healer, biochemist, pathologist. We have his daughter, the Queen, Kellie Bowman, and his grandson, the King, Izeah Bowman here. We're talking about his legacy and then what's going on moving forward with his teachings. Tracy, you have a question?
Yeah. Earlier this week, it was reported that there's a drug-resistant form of malaria that's spreading throughout Southeast Asia, and it's supposed to threaten global progression. Do you believe that herbs will be able to cure something like that?
When you think about what goes on in the world and the mutation of different things that happen at the rapid rate of mutation, we would have to catch this at the cellular level. This thing that's happening right now is urgent, like a Mickey Figgy. Yeah. So when we look at it like that, it would take a lot of us to come together and figure out this point naturally. Do I believe it can happen? All my life. But it's going to take all of us in a community to come together, because there are doctors who believe in just what we're saying, but we have to have that conversation together, because this thing is moving. And this won't be the only time you're going to hear about this. We're going to hear about a lot more to come. So this is one thing that's passionate right now in the news. But there are other things in the past that we still yet to deal with through the CDC. So we really need to get together as a community and come together and figure out how we're going to attack this thing.
There it is. 888-742-3345. What are some of the essential herbs that your everyday person should have in their cabinets?
Sea moss.
Sea
moss is one of the herbs that everyone needs, because it's very, very beneficial to the body. It builds the immune system. It detoxes the colon, put the zinc and the calcium back into the body, enriches the blood, tone the body naturally, suppresses the appetite, lower your blood pressure and your cholesterol as well. And it also helps with asthma and diabetes and balancing the sugar level. So yeah, that's one of the
sea moss.
Sea moss is one of the most powerful herbs that my grandfather discovered. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez was one of the first pioneers in hip hop to talk about Dr. Sebi and how important sea moss is to the body.
That's the royal superfood.
Sea moss is.
Sea moss.
Yeah, you can find sea moss or Irish moss off of the coast of St. Lucia, and it is beautiful. And you go there and you'll find it growing, and it is absolutely wonderful. So some people will have it in its natural form. Some people will powder it. Some people, any form you have is going to benefit that body. But you got to get it, and you got to get the one that you don't want to get one that's hybrid, because, you know, you made a point earlier talking about vegetables and veganism and the judgment of things. know this about Dr. Sebi. What you want to know about these food sources we're talking about is that he believed in an alkaline diet. That is the mucusless diet. So we can talk about all these things, but test it against acidity. So you want to have something that is alkaline. So we can talk about the carrot, we can talk about the celery, we can talk about the soy, but do they prove necessary to the body in alkalinity? And that's what pushes the body's immune system to do that. So the superfood, Irish moss, sea moss, is going to give you everything you need because it has all of that and it is completely alkaline.
I have a question. For someone who's listening to this and you've connected with them, but they are a fast food eater, they do everything wrong. How do they start?
Well, go ahead, Ati.
Well, first of all, there's no judgment.
There's no judgment. That's first and foremost. And we tell people, start with consuming vegetables and fruit and water.
Yes.
You know, most of our American people, 80% of our American people don't consume salads every day. We barely drink water and eat fruit. And then when we eat fruit, you know, we'll eat the orange, the apple, the banana, some seedless grapes and say we're eating healthy. And that's not the fruit that's going to put the proper nutritional value into the body.
What is?
You need berries. You need an alkaline diet, like what my auntie just said. All my grandfather ever practiced was alkalinity. You want foods that's going to electrify you, keep you vibrating on high frequencies. And eating acidic is not going to do it. Eating the McDonald's and fast food is not going to help you in your everyday life. So when you consume berries, have kale, have fruit, have water, and the right proper water, not just any water. We could say, well, I drink water every day. I'm drinking a gallon every day. But if you're consuming water that's just purified or, you know, recycled water, then that's not going to put the proper nutritional value into the body.
Yeah, and you know, to add also, there's no judgment here. A lot of people think that we're going to heavily judge you for where you came from. We all came from someplace.
That's right.
And we are all the sum of our experiences. So when you think about the sum of our experiences at our mother's table, we were fed these things to know this truth is our food. Now, mama may not have known, and that's okay. But we're in the day and age where we have information at the tip of our fingers. So what we want to say is education is important, and that's what we do. That's what our herbal ministry is right now, is to educate and to understand that it is just not with us. It is for you to understand so that you can heal yourself and then heal someone else.
That's Kellie and Izeah Bowman. Once again, I want to give out their platforms, dietaryresolutions.com and SebisDaughters.com. Follow them. Go on for yourself, and what they have to offer can help you get started to a healthier way of living. Lydell is on the line from Norfolk, Virginia. We're gonna do quick questions, quick answers. Lydell, go ahead.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm listening to y'all right now. I just got a question for earlier. You said that eating organic is better for you and things like that. What is for some resolutions for somebody like me who think, like you just said, eating vegetables and fruits and stuff is healthy? Like, what's a better way to eat organic that's cheaper? Because eating organic is not, it's very expensive and it's not cheap at all.
Well,
is there any solutions for that?
Yes. Fruits and vegetables, you know, we have the misconception that eating organic is expensive, but you spend more money on fast food every day than a salad or some berries. You can find berries and mangoes and avocados for cheap. That's not expensive. So when we say that these things are expensive, the reason why they're expensive because our people are not buying them at a high quality and a high quantity. So when we begin to start buying berries in a high demand, then I think they will start lowering prices. But the fact that we don't consume fruits and vegetables on an everyday scale, that's why it's expensive.
And it is also that on the front end, it may seem expensive, but brother, I'm going to tell you right now, it's more expensive to sit in that hospital right now. People cannot afford insurance right now. They cannot afford hospital stays. They cannot afford things that go on with chemicals in the long run. So let me tell you, I may pay $5 more for that piece of fruit, but guess what? That piece of fruit or those berries may keep me out the hospital and save me millions and feed my family forever.
For people who are unsure of organic and non-organic, is it just the way the vegetable or fruit is grown? Because I'm thinking if you don't buy organic, can you just wash it different and it'll be better?
Well, organic has been tainted. That word alone has been tainted. So the fact that you want fruits and vegetables that has seeds, if your fruits and vegetables doesn't have a seed, then it's 100% chance that you're eating fruit that's genetically modified in a laboratory that's not putting the proper nutritional value to the body anyway.
Lydell, let me ask you a question. Do you pay?
Sir.
How much? Do you have cable?
Yes, sir.
How much you pay for cable?
Around $70, $80.
That more important than your health?
No, sir.
Might want to
Absolutely
you might want to
not.
readdress your portfolio, what you invested in, Lydell. But man, go on their sites and definitely continue to read up and find out more information because I want you to live your best life, Lydell. You're a citizen.
That's way in the morning.
All right, let me take a couple more calls. James has a great question, and Callie, go ahead, James, real quick. Go for it.
Hey, man, good morning, you guys. I want to say sorry for your loss, and God bless you guys for talking about this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm a pest control operator in California, and I've done a lot of personal study on the mycelium network in the soil that's growing our agricultural crops, and pesticides are a huge factor in destroying that.
Yes.
And to be biodiverse and to spread good predators and pollinators, it's almost impossible, even in a state like California. I just wanted to hear your guys' take on that and how you feel that, how important that is.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. We are compromised. So now we got to do the best we can. So when we give you this information that we have about the minerals from these herbs that we have, I think almost that's the last food. That's about the last bit of what we know to be true and pure. When it comes to California and that cross-contamination, that's about normal. Back in the 70s, this was a huge fight in California when it came to pesticides. See, before there was Whole Foods, there was this store called Mrs. Gooch's, and they would have rallies about what you're talking about right now. If they knew then what we got now, the rallies would have ended up in war. So I agree with you. So it would behoove us to think about just how much we're looking at our food sources, but not only food, but the mineral sources that we have. And I believe the herbs are the last things that we have that gives the pure version of what we need for the body as fuel. So when it comes to something of that nature, we want to educate. I would love to see a world where we all grow our own vegetables again, because we don't have a say. We've made it conveniently easy for others to think for us to go somewhere outside of ourselves to get these food sources. So we can't actually say what our real truth is until we get in there and dig our hands in that dirt and figure it out ourselves. So we're going to continue to educate and find out ways together that we can get the minerals. This fight for our minerals is serious. So I get where you're coming from. And brother, I hope one day you become one of our clients so that we can continue to have this talk.
Hey, James. Matter of fact, James, check out their platforms, dietaryresolutions.com as well as sebisdaughters.com and become a member of the tribe, okay? All right, James?
Hey, absolutely, man. Thank you, guys. I'm watering my garden right now.
Keep up the good work.
We have so many people on the line. Angie from Omaha, Nebraska. Mason from Houston, Texas. Jaleesa from Phoenix. Soleil from Chicago. Nick from Tampa. Christopher from D.C. Vince from Albuquerque. Bobby from my hometown of Oakland. They all have questions for you guys. I want them to be able to continue the conversation past this conversation we're having on air. This is just a prelude to a whole bigger dialogue, and this is our first time having you guys up here. Yes. First of many. So whenever you come into New York, it's Bowman in the morning.
Thank you.
Remember this, okay? And so make sure you hit them up directly. I continue to say it, so you make sure you follow it. sebisdaughters.com, dietaryresolutions.com. Kelly, I want to thank you, Queen.
Thank you.
For gracing us with your presence and your energy.
Thank you.
She shook my hand. She shook my hand, and I felt it. I felt that chill.
What did you tell him? You said about being in the presence of a king, huh?
That is a king over there.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
And I honor that.
Thank you. I honor you, Queen. And that king over there, Izeah.
I appreciate you,
Powerful
King.
Man.
Appreciate you.
Love what you're doing. Continued success. I want everybody to follow them. It's for your own good. This ain't no political divide. This has nothing to do. It doesn't even have to do with your ethnicity. It has to do with your desire to live the best life you can live. So it don't matter what color your skin is or what part of the world you're from. These things can benefit you. So make sure you check them out. Thank you guys for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
for
appreciate
having
you.
us.
Absolutely. Kellie Kincaid.
Yes, you all can follow me and contact me at Kellie Kincaid, KELLYKINKAID. Thank you guys for coming.
Right, Sway in the morning.
Thank you.